the other. Hey, your future looks good.
What's great, JT, is he's not getting highly involved as most kids these days do with those video games, eh?
Oh, that's always going to be a good thing, Keith. I mean, look at our upbringings. We used to run the hills, and
Yes.
the PlayStation was outside.
Mm.
Until the street lights came on. If you're lucky enough to have street lights, we didn't. But it's just one of those sad things about the way society's going. And to make it worse, they're thinking of bringing crap like those video games into the Olympics. I mean, please.
I know.
That is not a sport. Come on. If that joins the Olympics, they might as well put the torch out forever.
I know. I can't believe that myself. Anyway, now, last night there were a couple of NRL games. The Rabbitohs and the Knights. Now, this game, I suppose, been more noted about the send-offs rather than the who won. Though the Knights did win that game against the Rabbitohs, but it's quite strange, or different. Both teams were down to 11 players at one time there, JT.
You know what? And no one was harmed.
Yes.
Yeah, please. Look, once again, the way society's going is, mate, I'm sure all three of us would love to see a bit of biff in the game of footy,
Yes.
rugby league, rugby, whatever.
Yep.
It's all, let them sort of out then play on. But, it was good, mate. It got the blood flowing last time. I thought, here we go, some more hand. Hung on, he's throwing one. So, Tom Burgess with the headbutt and Daniel Saifiti lodged with a couple of straight rights, and then it was taken it back 10 years, and Sam Burgess came in with another headbutt on Lachlan Fitzgibbon, and the referee sends four of them off to the sin bin to cool down. But mate, like I said, got the blood flowing, and it was good to see it back.
I agree. I totally agree. I thought it was great to see it back, to see those throws getting, and I think, quite frankly, it was handled very sensibly. I mean, the referee, obviously, he had to do something. I mean, you can't just let them go unpunished. So he sort of punished them all. And punished, I think, both teams fairly. What do you reckon, JT?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's new guidelines for that sort of thing. So as soon as you throw a punch, you're gone straight away. So,
yeah.
It was good that they threw one. They both threw them, so there's two gone, and then. And in regards to Sam Burgess, he came in with their headbutt and looked like they were trying to do a hongi, which didn't quite work for them. And then they went for a bit of an early mark as well. But like I said, mate, it was good to see. Even my wife, because we're at work at the moment, she works in a different place to me, and she rang me. She goes, "Are you watching this?" I said, "You damn well bet I'm watching this. How good is it?" And she said, "Yeah." Mate, just good to see. And I've read various social media posts about it, and for the most part, everyone's saying, no harm done. No harmed in the making of this production, so to speak.
No.
Just get on with it. And the Knights toughed out a good win, 20 points to 12. The Rabbits, they've been on a bit of a slippery slide. They've lost their gun halfback Adam Reynolds for a period of time. Cody Walker did in front last night.
Absolutely.
GI finished as well. So I think the Rabbits might be on the way down after peaking relatively early. And the Knights, on the other hand, they won one, lost five, and now they've won. Was it 6 in a row, 7 in a row, something like that, and they're looking okay. So yeah, good stuff.
No, the Knights, boy, they have really started to make a claim, and they didn't start off very well, did they? But boy, have they made quite a comeback, I'd say, JT.
Yeah, and I don't know if you realise this, but it's good for the game. Newcastle, graphically and socially, is a staunch rugby league area. Some lots of mines and a lot of blue-collar workers in that part of Australia, and a lot of heritage tracing back to the north of England, where the game came from. So, yeah, a good, strong and healthy performing Knights is good for the competition. Even when they won like 3 wooden spoons back-to-back, they were still getting 15, 20,000 in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, other teams, they can't even get that, and they're doing all right, like the Roosters, the Eels, stuff like that. Big ups to the Knights and to their fans.
Absolutely. Of course, apart from the send-offs, how was the game for you there, JT? Apart from all of the getting the juices flowing, what did you reckon of the game?
Oh, it was a good game, very good game. The Knights probably deserved to win. They had the lion's share possession, and they seemed to gel well. I think Rabbits might have been a bit underdone with their preparation in terms of losing their halfback. So they had no gun or no established. Sorry, is the word I'm trying to find. No established player in their halves.
Right.
Whereas the Knights had Mitchell Pearce and Mason Leno, who threw a good ball for the first try of the game. So that's where I sort of look at the lineups before the game. I thought, the Knights might take this due to that fact. You've got to have organisation around that, play the ball and around the ruck and further out. So they had the better halves, and they came away with the win. So yeah, good on them.
Now, the other game last night also, the Tigers, boy, did they go down in a big way against the Raiders, eh?
Oh, but by contrast, this game was an absolute, absolute bludger.
Right.
I struggled. I actually went to bed probably 15 minutes before it ended. No, sorry, I changed the channel and watched the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that new stadium at Bankwest, not a happy hunting ground for the Tigers. And although it's been hyped up as one of the best stadiums to watch rugby league, I think the surface leaves a lot to be desired. It's a little bit slippery and dewy, and right from the very first hit up of the game when the poor Tigers front rower Twile took it up and got banged under the shoulders and lost the ball. And that was pretty much the flow and effect for the Tigers last night. They couldn't get out of first gear, and the Raiders, a couple of good tries off little soccer-style kicks to the Englishmen, and they ran away with it, mate. So it's 30 years since that great grand final back in 1989, and
yes,
unfortunately for the Tigers, it's the same result, 28-0.
Right, yeah. Yes, okay. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back with more Full Time right after this.
Turanga FM.
On behalf of the full-timers, I would just like to say big thanks to Joachim Currid, who brings us our music intro. Check him out on joachimcurrid.com. He's also on YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, Instagram, and follow him on Facebook. Another big thanks goes out to Silent Partner, who brings us our outro. Check out their music on YouTube. And also thanks must go to the Polish Ambassador for the backing music for this promo. Check out the Polish Ambassador on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Beatport, Instagram, Twitter, and on his website, thepolishambassador.com.
You're listening to a podcast produced by Tūrangi FM, number one iwi radio station in Aotearoa. We play each full-time session on Tūrangi FM Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. You can listen in live on our Tūrangi FM media page. Just click the main Tūrangi FM logo to tune in online. Or if you're in the Gisborne area, we're on the radio frequencies 91.7, 95.7 and 98.1. Also check out the Full-Time Facebook page where you can listen to the podcast again. Make comments and click links that will lead you to other ways to listen to the podcast, such as Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, Podchaser and Tumblr. Right, let's get back to the Fools on Full-Time.
Welcome along to our second session here on Full-Time. I want to send a shout out once again going out to our sponsors, Racecraig Motors. Of course, they are down there on Race Street. Now, before we get back into sport, today we've got a special sort of thing happening. It's done by Ngā Taonga o Ngā Tamatoa Trust. Now, you'd remember that because they also bought out the book. What's that book? About the 28th Māori Battalion, Ngā Taonga.
Ngā Tamatoa.
Yes, that's right. Now, we've got a commemoration of a centenary of the Hui Aroha, which happened back in 1919 on the same date, the 8th of June, I believe, or close to that. Anyway, we've got like a 100-man guard, all dressed up in the First World War period uniforms, which were wonderfully donated by Sir Peter Jackson, who, from what I understand, is also going to be in Gisborne to watch this, obviously, I believe. I know he was here yesterday, and I'm sure he's still hanging around here somewhere today. Now, the parade is being held in conjunction with the book launch of Whitiki, Māori in the First World War. Now, this is welcoming home back in 1990. They welcomed home to the Māori Pioneer Battalion from that Great War of the soldiers that participated from here in Te Tairawhiti. Now, the parade starts off at Te Poho Rawiri Marae. They'll be marching to Calvin Park at 11:20. They've got the book launch at Calvin Park at 12:15, and at 12:45 book sales will commence with book signings by the author. 1:15, the parade then moves to the Wipere Monument, just down here on Reed's Quay, and they'll be unveiling the 100 years ago monument as well. The parade then marches to Heipipi Park, where the pioneers disembarked in 1919. Then it'll proceed back to Te Poho Rawiri Marae, where they'll have a welcome to by the Minister of Defence and the visitors, and the hakari begins at 3:30. So it's a long, long day, especially for those 100 young men. So I want to send a big shout out to all of those who are participating, who are taking part in this particular commemoration, and in particular to my nephews, Te Kehu and Jan, who are participating as part of that 100-man guard. So big kia ora and a big shout out going to all of those involved. Now, you would have heard about this, eh, Raa?
Yeah, I think Dr. Montisuta was doing a lot of the research and compilation, I believe, for that book. I have a connection to that. My grandfather, my dad's old man was in that pioneer battalion, and it's one of those units where, unlike the 2/8 battalion in the Second World War, there wasn't a heck of a lot known about them. It's good to see material like this sort of, out there for the wider public and for all Kiwis to find out, a lot of our brave men who went away and fought under atrocious conditions, and rather quite poignant, because I think this week we celebrated some of the 95th or something, 70th something of D-Day, I think it was, and, it just reminds us that as hard as our days are, a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our grandparents, great-grandparents, they had it a lot harder than us in so many ways. They lived in times of war, and a lot of their youth was stolen because they had to go away and fight other people's wars. So, I always keep that in the back of my mind when you're having a crap day. You think, sun's still shining, nobody's out to get you, and, enjoy your life while you can, because we know even nowadays at the drop of a hat, anything, a spark can happen, and there's some sort of God-forsaken war zone, somewhere around the world where people are going to lose their lives. So, no, it's good for the history of our country, Keithy, and hopefully it teaches a lot of our young people coming through what a lot of our older generations did for us.
Yes, absolutely. Now, would you have heard of this as well there, JT? Are you there, JT?
Yep, sorry, mate. I had my mute on while I was talking, just so I could sneeze and cough and clear out all the... I have. I've watched Monty Suta's interviews on Facebook a couple of times, and look, he's trying to bring some more recognition to those Māori members of that Māori Pioneer Battalion, because a lot of them are forgotten, and their efforts in the war shouldn't be forgotten, And if you go back to those times, 100 years ago, it wasn't that long after the land wars, so
yes.
Would have been a big ask to ask, some of our people to go across there and fight for the people that we'd not long, finished fighting against, so to speak. So, big effort, and like Raa said, it's 75 years since the landings at Normandy and the D-Day and all that sort of carry on. So, quite poignant, and Yeah, although we're lucky we're born into a generation